Is Nintendo secretly working on a Game Boy Classic? Nintendo has managed to pluck from the nostalgia tree with huge successes for the classic versions of the NES and SNES, and despite all of the stumbles with launch as well as the limited stock, based on the fact that gamers, young and old, have been more than happy to plunk down their hard-earned bucks to have a chance to stroll down memory lane with the consoles of yesteryear, it seemed like Nintendo's next move would be reviving the N64 with its own classic redo. However, new trademarks filed in Japan seem to indicate that Nintendo could actually be working on a Game Boy Classic. Recently, a Japanese trademark bot tweeted out the trademark filing, which is listed with the unmistakable image of a Game Boy. The filing covers a bunch of potential uses, including various merchandise and programs for smartphones, cases, and accessories, as well as the term home video game console. Now, this trademark filing could be Nintendo just trying to protect the Game Boy brand, but it also could very well mean they're getting ready to hit us with a classic Game Boy release. And why not? We've seen Nintendo dipping its toe into mobile gaming with Super Mario Run, and the broad description of what this trademark covers could certainly include some new mobile apps. But if they are in fact bringing back the Game Boy as a classic console, just think of all of the potential! So many classic games were introduced to 90s kids through the Game Boy line: Tetris, Pokemon Red and Blue, Super Mario Land, and the catalog of games they could release for a portable classic would be huge. And could it just be a coincidence that this weekend at the Nintendo World Championships, 2 rounds were played on Game Boys? I think that's actually the most telling news of all. Whether or not the Game Boy is making a comeback, Nintendo is certainly making sure to keep that classic console in the collective consciousness. Again, the trademark filing is light on details, so we have no idea what the size, shape, or general form of a classic Game Boy would be, if it is in the works at all. We imagine it would somewhat follow the shape and bulk of the original, in between that and the size of the Game Boy Pocket. Instead of running on 4 AA batteries, it could have more sophisticated modern charging capability as well. Also, what would be the price point here? Back in 1989, the original Game Boy debuted at $89.99, which would be about $170 today with inflation. The Nintendo Switch currently clocks in at $299. Would Nintendo be able to keep a Game Boy re-release at an affordable price? And if not, perhaps the more important question is, would fans pay the same or more for a second portable Nintendo device? But what do you folks think? Do you want a Game Boy Classic, or is the Switch enough for you? Actually, if we're going back down nostalgia lane, I'd really want a Nokia N-Gage back. I still can't do it. Nobody wants that shit back. Let's discuss. I did have one though. Ooh, confessions. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hey, if you haven't seen my new show, Bizarre States LA, you've still got a chance to check it out for free. Head on over to projectalpha.com and use the promo code BIZARRE, 1Z, 2 R's. New users will get 60 free days to check out all of the adventures Andrew Bowser and I find ourselves in as we attempt to pull back the curtain on all of the spooky and the weird surrounding Los Angeles. It's a super fun show, and we hope you will check it out. We also have a party, Halloween party this Saturday for members, so sign up and you can come. Awesome. See you guys there. Thanks. Bye.